Well guys, there's a brand new addition to the Fab Life workshop. It's the ORTUR R2 fully enclosed laser engraver. ORTUR sent me this out to give it a go and feature it on the channel. Now I can tell you 100% this is the first time I've ever owned one of these, so let's get it unboxed, set up and see what it's like. Alright guys, we've done some unboxing and it's uncovered another box inside the box. What I've noticed so far inside the first box was it came with a certificate just there and a safety sticker that has to go on the unit. What I also found inside the box was a whole bunch of materials, bit of wood, some leather, some acrylic that you could use to test out the unit without having to go out and buy anything before actually having a go of it. Let's continue unboxing this, see what's inside this box. I tell you what, so far in the unboxing of this unit here, I've got to say that the packaging is exceptional. It's come with all these protective bits of thick cardboard all the way around the perimeter, and not only is it a box, but it's inside another box. This has come all the way from China and sent to me here in Australia, and the presentation is flawless. There's no damage. I'm really impressed. So first up in the items you get contained inside the unit is the product guide package. Soon after you will see the laser safety goggles, two USB-A to USB-C cables that are for the connection to a PC and the inbuilt camera on the rear of the unit. Next up is the supply power adapter and cable for this unit. The voltage specifications for this adapter suit the Australian market. These remaining parts are the infrared laser focusing tool, a spare lens for the laser, and a quick coupling adapter for the air pump and airflow regulator. Now we're finally onto the more interesting parts. First up you will see the ventilation tube, which had a bag of tools and other small parts inside it. With those parts out of the way, we now have the 6mm air hose and the air pump itself. To be honest, I'm very impressed with the build quality of this air pump. It feels very sturdy and the construction feels high in quality. Lastly, we are now left with the triangular standoff blades for the bed and the LR4 1A 1.3 watt infrared laser module, as I opted for this to be included in the kit. Once I removed the large bit of foam, I then uncovered the protection plate for the bed of this laser unit. Now, as I said earlier, this unit is very well packaged. To free up the 20 watt laser module, I needed to remove two cable ties, a wooden chock and some more foam. After sliding the gantry forward by hand, I then removed the last piece of foam, finally. Now it's time to trigger a few people. Removing the protective film is so satisfying. Comment down below if you're one of those people who insist on leaving it on the unit because it will forever feel new. How good is this feature? When you're struggling with glare, you can tilt the screen to be able to improve its clarity. So there wasn't much inside the package guide box except for the user manual and the calibration board that is specifically for this unit. If you are to use Lightburn, you will need to download and print their calibration chart separately. One of the first things I noticed was that it had a clear and readable English option. All of the instructions listed in the manual were easy to read and straight to the point. One of the first steps in the manual was to obtain the supplied micro SD card and install it in the rear of the unit. The micro SD card came installed in a USB card reader. I just needed to pop it out and then push it into the card reader port on the back of the unit. The rear of the unit says TF card reader, but it is also known as a micro SD card reader port, so hopefully you're not as confused as I was. Next on the list, we need to give this unit some power. This unit has a few safety features built into it. To be able to turn the unit on, you will need to install a key into the slot on the rear of the unit and then turn it to the on position. This feature is especially helpful for preventing the unwanted use of the unit. Just remove the key and take them with you. Once the laser is connected to power, you will need to turn the key to the on position, make sure the safety stop switch is pulled up, and then hold the power button for 3 seconds. The unit will then turn on and the laser module will move to the lower left and find its home position. To install the ventilation tube, there were 4 self-tapping screws inside the bag of tools and other small bits. The process was super simple, just align the holes and use the supplied screwdriver to do up the screws. Now that the ventilation tube has been fitted, it's now time to install the air pump supply tube. I did find it to be a little tight and a small amount of silicone spray helped a lot with pushing them into their fittings. This small bag contained the quick coupling and the air regulator clamp. One thing I did notice was that the air pump will be on once the power is connected. There isn't a power on off switch, so when you're done with it, just disconnect the power lead. Alright guys, we've finally got this thing set up and I think it's time to give this thing a go. But first, I've got to jump over on the ORTUR website and download their app. But one thing that I have noticed that is really cool, on the screen on the front of the unit, there is a setting where you can click it and it shows you the QR code. Once you scan that with your phone, it takes you straight to their website and you can download the app. So, I'll show you how to do that. So after pressing the app button on the screen, you will need to scan the QR code. This will take you straight to their website where there are a lot of handy links. Once I clicked on the applicable link for my laptop, it then took me straight to the App Store where I proceeded to download the ORTUR app. The instruction manual calls the app another name, but it's actually called ORTUR on the app menu. You will need to create a login before using the app. It will then continue to ask for some app permissions before moving forward. Now it's time to click Start the Experience. Following this, it will have easy to read prompts on the screen that you will need to follow along with. Once you've selected your Wi-Fi and entered in the password, it will then connect. Following this, it will ask you what module is fitted to the unit. Now that the unit is set up, you will see a couple of handy prompts on the screen that will give you some guidance of how the app works and what to click on. So there you have it, guys. You've seen how easy it is to download the app onto your phone. So let's get an image, load it onto our phones, and get something engraved. Before we can use the camera to align the workpiece, you will need to carry out the alignment procedure. I found it to be really easy. I just followed along with what was shown on my phone and the procedure was completed within minutes. This was the very first time I've seen a laser do its thing in person. Although it was only engraving calibration points, it was still very exciting to me. Now it's finally time to give this thing a go. I've decided on a tiger face that I found on the ORTUR app. Once I had placed the wood inside the working area, I needed to set the focal length of the laser. This was done by lowering the built-in leg so that when it's fully extended, that will now be your set laser clearance. One thing I really liked about this unit was that the app came already loaded with some images to be able to get familiar with how the laser works. I didn't need to go online and start searching for images that will work with this unit. Time to place the tiger image on the right area of the workpiece. This was easily achieved as the camera image was nice and clear, which helped with the alignment. For this test, I used the preset settings for the image. In the future, I'll spend some more time dialing in the settings to see how they affect the quality of the engraving. How good does that look? I've never seen anything like this, and to be able to do this kind of thing at home is so amazing. One takeaway from this is that there is a strong burning smell, and I will need to install more ducting so that the smoke exits my workshop in the future. This next test piece was to try out the unit's ability to cut wood. The material was 3mm thick and it had no issue whatsoever. For anyone watching that has experience with laser cutting, is there a way to minimize the soot that is left on the edges of the cut? I did find that it would easily smear onto the workpiece when handled. Next up is a test to see how well it engraves and cuts out my YouTube logo. First impressions, I think that came out really well. I decided to program 2 passes on the border to lower how much heat was applied. Alright guys, you've just seen me finish up using the 20-watt laser on this unit. I cut out that tiger face and I must say I am so impressed with the detail and the etching on that piece of MDF, I think it was. So the next thing that I want to try is the supplied 1.3 watt infrared laser that can engrave all types of steel. So let's switch over the module and see how that goes. This is the LR4-1A 1.3 watt infrared laser module. To swap it over, it was a really simple process. Once I removed a few cable ties, I then needed to unplug the electrical cable and air pump tube from the left side of the gantry. Now that the infrared laser module is installed, you will need to plug the power lead into the connector on the left side. Now grab a couple of the supply cable ties and re-secure the power lead. Now it's time to install the earth lead. You will need to undo the screw with a supplied screwdriver, slide under the terminal and do the screw back up. Next up, you need to adjust the limit bracket for the laser head. You will need to undo the screw and move it from the 20 watt section down to the 10 watt/1 watt section. Time to test out this infrared laser on some black acrylic. But before I do that, I will need to set the focal length. This laser module doesn't have a leg built in. You will need to use the 40mm spacer that is supplied with the unit. How good does that look? I love the way the black acrylic has turned white. Next up is a test piece of coated stainless. Apologies for it being Fab Life again, but I already had the image loaded into the app and it just made things a lot easier. After struggling to find something that was stainless, I managed to score a stainless spoon from inside the house. It's fair to say that this will now become my preferred spoon for work. It honestly was at this point where I was so incredibly amazed at what this tool could do. To be able to customize my future projects with my logo is so exciting, and it just adds that extra layer of detail that I love. If you follow along with my channel, this is my shop-made tap follower. I feel like there's something missing though. Oh yeah, it needs Fab Life engraved onto it. The one thing that I wasn't sure about was that the face that I was engraving onto was curved. I wasn't sure how it would turn out and whether the logo would be distorted. And just like that, it came out perfect. I don't even know how that's possible. Well guys, I think that's going to be a wrap for this video. I am super impressed with this and I'm so excited to use it in future videos. I have a whole bunch of organizing that I want to do in my toolboxes, and not to mention all the engraving of my name and logo on the tools that I make on this channel in the future. The possibilities with this thing are absolutely endless, and the ease of use is awesome. You can choose to use it standalone with the app and nothing else. You just pull out your phone, you drag and drop some things on the screen, you line it up with the camera image on there, click process, and off you go. or you can use the Lightburn app, which I'm not very experienced with. I had a little go with it. It seems to be okay, but there's a lot of settings that I need to learn before I can use that app properly. So switching between the two modules was super easy. It was a couple of connectors, a couple of cable ties, and you set the focal length with the little tool. It's 40 millimeters for the 1.3 watt. That was super easy. But anyways, thank you so much to ORTUR for giving me the opportunity to review this and use this on future videos on my channel. I'm super grateful for that. And thank you so much to everyone who has stuck around to the end. I know this is not my normal machining videos, but I love tools, and I'm so glad that I got the opportunity to have a go at one of these. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, there will be a link in the description for one of these. It is an affiliate code for myself. It helps the channel. There will be a discount code also too if you'd like to save yourself some money. So thank you so much again for everyone who's stuck around to the end. It means a lot. Remember to like, subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, I'll see you in the next one.